Hi, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui, and on this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so if you're into stuff like this, please make sure to subscribe. Now this video is part 2 of a video that I posted on Wednesday where we dissect this dress that was worn by Kendall. And if you want to fully understand what is going on here, make sure you see the previous video first. If you're a beginner and you want a course that will teach you the fundamentals of this skill step by step, or you're someone who just wants to brush up yourself and clean up your craft, I have courses that are made just for you. So if you're interested in that, I want you to send a WhatsApp message to this number. I'll be showing you a demo, how to make a jumpsuit, how to cut it and how to construct it, for you to see and decide if learning this craft will be convenient for you online. As always, have a nice day, enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next class. Bye. So yeah, this is where we stopped in the last video, so let's proceed. This is the front. We have to now work on the back of the dress. All right, so what you can see here is the back of the dress. We are done with the front. So you see this part, we have the two sides for the back. One's going to sit like this and the other is going to sit the other way. I told you to cut it into 4 pieces. You can see we have 2 on this side, okay, and we have 2 on the other side. Now let's use this pattern to mark out that point. Okay, so you're going to remove the top part, okay, and then because we need to mark that point on the wrong side, this is the wrong side, see the right side here. Okay, so you come to the wrong side, place it like this, lift up the paper, make a mark at the top part. You see that part, the top part of the dart? I simply made a mark under it. Come to the end, put a finger there, and then make a mark there. Roll a straight line from the top dots that you marked to the bottom. As for the front side, because we need to dart both the fabric and the lining, you just place one on top of the other and then flip it over. Simply just make a mark here, leave the side up. You see this line, you simply replicate it on this one, flip it over, run a straight line from here to here. Okay, so let's go to the machine. Let me show you guys how to hold the dart. Oh, but sorry, before we go to the machine, we have drawn the dart. It's time for us to let's iron it before we go, so that it makes it easier. So I'm going to sprinkle water and I'm simply going to iron it flat. Okay, so that it will lay down flat, so that so that it will lay down flat when we're fixing the dart. I'm simply going to do the same thing on this side. So at the bottom part, remember we marked out 1/2 inch on the fabric. So you see, okay, let me get something. Okay, yeah, you see this back dart. This is the back. See this line, the center line, the middle line, the very first line that we ruled is the line that we ruled with the chalk, and we have 1/2 inch on both sides. So we have to do the same thing. We're going to come to the bottom, we're going to make a mark at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to sew from there. Okay, from 1/2 inch we'll taper it out to nothing, but at the bottom there it is a 1/2 inch. It's a dart, it's a 1/2 inch dart. All right, so you can see how I taper out from 1/2 inch to nothing. That's how you're also going to achieve yours. When I was getting close to the top, I tapered it. Okay, repeat the exact same thing on the second side. Now this second side will be used for the lining. Remember, please, if you've not seen the previous video, go and watch it. Now when you're done with this part, you see this part I'm touching now, that's the neckline. The other side is the armhole. Come to the neckline, join the neckline together. So keep it front facing front. Okay, that's the shiny side of the satin facing the shiny side of the satin, and I will simply sew around the neck. Now when you're done stitching around the neck, I want you to notch around the neck, which is what you can see me doing here. Sorry, I'm not feeling too well. This is the zipper allowance, this is the neckline, that means here is the zipper allowance. Seal from top to bottom, seal the zipper allowance. Okay, alright, so I've sealed the zipper allowance. You see the angle where the 2 lines meet? I want you to make a notch across. Open everything inside out, take it to the table and press and iron it. Okay, this is the part I just ironed. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron the dart. As you can see, I sprinkled water on the side too. Iron the second dart. Ironing is basically everything. No, it's not everything, but it's very important if you want to achieve the best neatest look that you can get. So I'm ironing every single angle of the pattern. You can see that the front of the dart, flip it over to the other side, sprinkle some water, and ooh, I said water. Now this YouTube English is entering me. I said water. I want you to repeat this exact same thing on the other side of the back. Remember, the back has two sides. I want you to dart the other side, build the neckline on the other side. Here I've done the other side of the back. The same thing I did to the part I just showed you, the same thing I did to the parts that you didn't see. So let me bring the front. Let's join them at the shoulder. Here you can see we have the back and the front. So place the front on top of the back like I'm placing. This is the front. This is join them at the shoulder. Okay, as you can see now, the top part is still rough there. We need to join them at the shoulder. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick it up, place it, and be sure that they are laying properly, front facing front. So pick up the shoulder. I'm going to go and join them together. I'm going to go to my machine. Look here. I'm going to sew a line from here to here. All right. So let's go and run the stitch and come back. Now you can see I've joined them at the shoulder. Remember the stitch that I ironed, it is still ironed. Okay, make sure you flatten the that stitch made around the neckline. So the same thing that I do to all my seams that I've done so far is spread and iron the seam. Okay, I'm sprinkling water in between the seam I just made, and then I'm going to press and iron it completely flat, front and back. Okay, now the next thing you're going to see, look at this is what the neckline looks like. Now we have to finish the armhole, so please watch closely. I'm picking up the top part of the fabric. I'm going to simply flip it. See what I'm doing? I flipped it inside out. All the rough work is now facing you, so I want you to go and stitch around the armhole half an inch. Okay, you see from here I'm going to run a line from here, half inch around all the way to the other side of the armhole. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. Okay. When I'm done with making the stitch, I'm going to come back and show you guys what's next. So after running a stitch around the armhole, this is what I have. So next step is to notch around the armhole. Look at that. Now I basically keep like a 1 inch gap between every single notch that I make. Okay, so you don't gotta make too many notches so that you don't make your edge look like you pass it through a shredding machine. So I'm trying to turn it inside out. Look at what I'm doing with my hand. I pass from one side. I'm going to squeeze my finger in. I'm going to pick up one of the ends, give it to my hand that's on the inside. Look at, it's going to simply pull everything inside out. Okay, so now we have a clean armhole. I'm going to, of course, iron everything. Simply spray water. Water. I'm going to simply spray water on it, and I'm going to iron. Now we're going to focus on the bottom part. Sorry, focus on the other side. Remember, we have to do the same thing, this exact same thing. Remember, there are two sides of the front. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Look at it now. Look at how fast I am. Before you could even blink, I was done. So the same thing was done on both sides. Now the first part we'll deal with for the down part is the front of the skirt. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to dart the front. Okay, we cut two sides for the front, one side for the fabric, one side for the lining. I'm going to open this up, place my pattern close to the edge. I'm going to make a mark at the top there where the center line is. Come to the bottom, make a mark here, draw a straight line from top to bottom. When I'm done, I'm going to flip it over, arranging my pattern. I'm going to just part it. When I part it, look at this, look at, see the magic. You've seen that. So there's no need to now do the math of marking the dart on the other side. Okay. So it's the same. When I'm holding the dart, it's basically the same thing with with the way I held the dart on the back of the bodice. But look at the magic that I'm doing. I simply just place the front on the back, tapped it. The tailor's chalk would reflect on the other side, and you can simply just trace it out. So I'm going to go and hold my dart. Is simply the exact same way I did the back, but I'm going to make it upside down. You see, I'm coming from down, I'm opening up to ½ inch. Okay, I'm going to go and do it, come back and then show you. It's basically what I did on the bodice, but it's inverted. That's the back bodice. Look at it. So I've held the dart on all four sides, both the part that is for the fabric and both sides, and the side that is for the lining. I'm going to come to the bottom of the skirt, and I'm going to the skirt part, and I'm going to join the bottom at 1/2 inch. You see, this is the bottom I'm holding. Run a line from here all the way down to the end. All right, binding both of them together. So let me go and do that. Now I'm done. You can see I zoomed in a bit for you to be able to see. Look at that. Even when I spread it open, you can see that there's a joining there. Of course, I'm going to need to press and iron. So you can see me doing that here. Please make sure that you always use a spray bottle. If you use a steam iron, there is no need for you to have a spray bottle. Simply just use the steam function and you'll be alright. So ironing everything. So it's time for us to put the lace. The lace is next. That's why I showed you that image, so that you would know that that's what's coming next. The lace that was seen aside. So this is the pattern for the side. If you remember, we cut it out of this pattern. You can see that we cut it out of this pattern. Now it's time for us to cut the lace. Now you need to get a lace that is really stretchy. So you can see this is my lace. Here it's really stretchy, as you can see this, and here too is stretchy. It's stretchy on both grains, but it's stretchy on the grain that is stretchier on the grain that I'll cut it on. Now I don't need 2 inches for the allowance because that lace is really stretchy, so 1/2 inch should be enough. So I'm going to cut this out, and the lace, the stretchiness of that lace would compensate for all the allowance that I'm going to chop off. Okay, so that blue line is the actual measurements that I'm working with, so I don't need a big flap of 2 inches of fabric on the inside there. We won't be able to cover this with lining, so it has to be open, so we need to have a small stitch there. We'll need to cut 4 pieces. We're going to need 2 pieces per side, but first of all, I'm going to lay everything flat, place it on top, and I'm going to cut it. Okay, I'm cutting it on a fold. Okay, I'm going to come from here. I'm cutting that angle there exactly the same with the paper. Cut the top part exactly the same. I'm not adding any allowance around there. But when I come to the bottom, you see that bottom part, I'm going to add 1/2 inch more to that part right there, and then we're going to cut this other side too exactly the same. So the only place that has a little difference is the bottom part that I added another 1/2 inch. So I'm going to need to cut another part again the second time. I'm going to need to cut another piece again for the other side. This side we're going to come here and need to cut another one that will sit on the other side. That's what I'm doing next. So it's basically the same thing what I did with what I did the first time. Okay, just inverted. Now we're going to need to join them together on that side. That's the side that would sit on the hip. So we're going to need to join that side. If you are using a lace that has an obvious front side, make sure you place it front side facing the front side before you stitch it together. So here you can see me stitching all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so I'm joining it at only 1/2 inch. The outer curve, I'm joining it together at only 1/2 inch. So now we have joined this part together. The next step is to take it to the table. You see this bottom part here, come to the hem, and I want you to fold it in facing the rough side, in where the rough side is. Fold it by 1 inch, then press and iron it. The bottom part of the lace, fold 1 inch in, press and iron it. Then I'm going to join the other lace and do the same thing. So the same thing I do to this part is the same thing I'm going to do to that part. That's the net I just stitched. I have ironed it in. You see the 1 inch is now laying in more obediently. That's because I've ironed it. So at the bottom, that 1 inch we kept, I want you to fold. Remember, we had 1/2 inch at the hem, then we kept another 1/2 inch. Iron it. Come to the hem. Okay, so this is obviously the clean side of my skirt. I want you to lay the skirt flat. That's part that we spread and iron. I want you to keep it flat. Come to the bottom. You see this rough side, the rough side is facing me. Keep the side that is clean facing down towards the side of the skirt that you want to use as the part that will show outside. Then I want you to flip this one on top of it like so. You see that? And then we're going to sew from the bottom to the top, sealing the lining, the lace, and the front part of the fabric together. That's what you can see me doing here. Okay, so I'm simply going to run from here all the way to the top. Now When you're done with that, you need to turn the whole thing inside out. By the time I turn it inside out, this is what we have. There'll be a little bulk at that bottom part there, but this is what we have basically. You can see everything. I want you to come back inside that place that you would have the bulk. I want you to cut that excess off to reduce that bulk. Okay, make a notch at that point. After making that notch, you will notice that everything will be a lot more relaxed at the bottom. This is the inside, this is the outside. Alright, we'll join this part of the lace to the skirt. Is to join the other side. Basically the same thing. I've ironed 1 inch at that hem too. So place the front side, the neat side of the lace facing the down part. Turn it upside down. See that? I'm going to turn the side upside down on top of it, and I'm going to seal all of them together. Alright, come to the bottom, make a notch, exactly what I did before. Turn the whole thing inside out. Let me show you guys the result. So now we have attached the sassy lace detail on the side. Look at the rough side. We have the joining. Make sure that you have the rough side of the lace facing the same direction. Okay, so now it's time for us to work on the back of the skirt. But before we do that, let me just show you guys everything clearly. Okay, so that's everything there. Now here we have the back. If you've forgotten that we have the back, you're sleeping, wake up. So this is both sides of the back. This is going to stay like this. See the slant at the top, 1/2 inch allowance at the top. This is for the other side. Now we have to place the darts where it is appropriate. I'm going to come up, lift. You see that I'm going to first take away this. I'm placing my paper on the wrong side of the fabric, on the inside. Come to the bottom, basically the same thing I did in front. Draw a line from here to here. So of course I'm going to just beat everything. Just beat it, just beat it, beat it, beat it. I'm a terrible singer, yo. I'm a terrible singer. I don't know. I'm having cuts. I don't know if it's the weather in Calabar, but it's been seriously cold. Now, you see, I'm just simply replicating all the points. I have to hit it again for good measure. So you have seen, I've marked all those points. I'm going to go and hold my dart the same way I did the front. The same thing. Here, this is the side I just did the dart. This is 1 of 2. This is fabric lining. The same thing I did to the center piece is the same thing I'm going to do to the back. So I'm going to go and run a line at the bottom just like I did in front. Here you can see I've run the stitch at the bottom. The exact same thing I've been doing to all my seams. I'm going to spread it and iron it. Make sure you spread it. Make sure you always spread it. I'm going to do the same thing to the side. So it's time for us to join the lace. So you see this is the hip for the back. I'm going to need to join the side to that side. Okay, so I'm going to need to join the lace to that side. Now if you remember, we folded in 1 inch. Make sure that that 1 inch still stays folded in. You don't want to run any stitch on your lace on the parts on the grain that's supposed to stretch. If not, it's going to compromise its stretchiness. That's why I'm not hemming it. I'm not using what's that thing called, hemming, the hemming gum. I'm not using that at the hem, so do not use that. So I'm planting it in between. Just look closely. I'm planting it exactly the same way I planted the front. I'm keeping the front side of the fabric facing the part of the skirt that I want to show on the outside, and I'm going to flip the lining over it. I'm simply going to join the 3 of them, the part of the fabric that will be the front, the lace, and the part that's going to be the lining. All right, so I'm joining the 3 of them together. So when you're done with that, it's time to seal the zipper allowance. So let me show you guys what's going on. So you can see we've applied the lace on the side. So but we still have the zipper allowance. See this edge here? This edge is still rough. We have to finish it properly. So I'm going to flip everything inside out. From the bottom, I'm going to start sewing from the bottom all the way to the top. You can see what I'm doing here. Sewing 1/2 inch from the bottom all the way to the top. I'm going to simply flip it inside out. The zipper allowance that was once outside, rough and outside, has now been finished properly. I want you to do this exact same thing on the other side, but I've already done it on the other side. If you don't understand what I just did, rewind and play it. If you still don't understand, then I think God, you need to ask for help. What we have here is the front. Our sleeve is supposed to run from here all the way to the bottom. That is exaggerated sleeve. So you can see I'm keeping 1/2 inch at that hem there, and I'm going to measure from that 1/2 inch all the way to here. So considering that we have 26.5, so the way the sleeve is shaped, we're going to have to cut a fillet. So but the number from one side to the other is 26.5, we're going to have to use that to cut the fillet. Yes, the next clip is going to be really white. Okay, everything is just white. So I'm going to advise that you see my video on how to draft a fillet if you want to get a better understanding. I will still explain it here, but just that you will not be able to see it super clear. You see what I'm saying? It's like that Shaggy's video where he died and went to heaven after when they're looking at that girl and had an accident. You know how white that girl, you don't in danger. Yeah, I don't get copyrighted, I'd have sang the song. But I'm simply cutting a 360 fillet. I've taught this class before. I'm going to drop a link right here for you to be able to go and watch that video. So now the idea is that we have 3 steps for the sleeve, so you're going to have to cut 3 different steps of fillets 2 times each. The first fillet is going to be 6 inches, the second side is going to be 7, the third side is going to be 8. Now for the circle, the top part, I'm using that 26.5 that I measured from one side to the other of the sleeve. So after I have the 6.5, I divide it by 4. I'm using it to make a semicircle, no, to make a quadrant, and I'm going to measure around, okay, and that's going to be the head of my fillet. The next thing you can see me doing here is I'm marking the length of the sleeve. So this is the short one. I'm marking 6 inches. So this is the very first step. We're going to need to draw a line to trace out the 6 inches. I'm going to cut it. It's simply just cutting a fillet. So the same way you fold when you are cutting a circle skirt or something, it's basically the same thing, but the head of the look at me saying the head, like what's this guy's name? What's that guy's name? Anyhow, so Bobrisky, that's the guy's name. Yeah, you know that guy's a herd. Yeah, that's what I just did. I'm simply using the first fillet to cut the bottom part. It's really white. You can't really see the details, but it's basically a 360 fillet. So we're going to need to slice here open one side of the fillet. This part here, let me show you guys what's going on. If you see the bodice, this is going to be the sleeve. You see this? It's going to come from here, the very first step, from here all the way down. That's the idea. So for the next one, I'm going to cut the next one 7, cut the next one 8, so that you have that 3-step effect. Okay, so if you see in the image, okay, look at the 3 steps there. All right, so but for it to have that, if you notice at the front, it's a lot smaller and it tapers out and gets bigger at the shoulder point. So from the bottom here, I came from 3 inches, the middle of 3 inches, and I made that curve out. Okay, let me place it again. Now the part at the bottom is smaller and it tapers out. Here is smaller and then it tapers out. As it gets towards the shoulder, it's graduated, is longest at the shoulder. Now I'm simply going to cut for the rest. This is really white. If you guys need to go and see that video, that's Shaggy's video where he died and went to an all white heaven, as in they were all wearing white. I'm cutting the parts now that is 7 inches long. Okay, I'm going to need to cut 2 times for here, and then I'm going to need to cut for the last part. It's going to be 8 inches long. That's the only difference. So it's graduated 6, 7, 8. Like I said, I'm going to cut 2 parts. So you see these 2 parts. The first one, that part that I trimmed, and that part there, that's the one that's 6 inches. The one I'm holding in my hand now is the one that's 7 inches long. The last one underneath is the longest one at 8 inches. I'm going to need to trim all of them. Okay, all of them need to be graduated. You see this part that we have there? We are going to need to make, look at that, I'm placing one on top of the other, and I'm simply going to trace. Okay, so we have 6 there. I'm cutting 3 inches out, tapering out as it gets close to the shoulder. So you see that I'm going to open up that part. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to do the same thing for the one that's 7 inches long. I'm going to open it up. I'm placing both of them one on top of the other. So 7, measure it. So from here to here is 7. The middle of 7 is 3.5. I'm going to come to 3.5. I'm going to cut. I'm going to taper it out gradually before I get to the center. I'm going to need to open up the fillet. Please go and see the video on how to draft a 360 fillet. I have a video 360, 720, 1440. It's going to make this very, very easy for you. Now I want you to come to this part here. Now this is 8 inches, so I'm coming from 4 inches and I'm tapering out before I get to the shoulder. I'm also going to divide here too. Now for the white, oh I forgot, the white thingy I'm using is woven fusible fleece interfacing. If you're in Nigeria, look for cloth gum, but if you're abroad, look for woven fusible interfacing. Sorry, woven fusible interfacing. All right, so it's supposed to have, it's fusible, so it's supposed to have a part that has some sort of adhesive that is heat activated. Okay, so that's what you can see me doing here. I'm ironing it to the wrong side of my fabric. Okay, so the side that has the heat, I'm placing it facing down. Look at the heat has applied my interfacing to the fabric. Okay, so take another piece, place it on top of it. Now that part, the one that's on top is going to be the fabric, the one that's shown on the outside. The one at the bottom is going to be the lining. Okay, so I'm simply cutting a lining by placing that one underneath. That's the part that's going to fit so that this white stuff does not show. They just an all black dress, according to one of the subscribers that she went to an ex's funeral. So it's time to sew them together. Whatever I do to this part, you do to all the other sides. I'm placing front side facing front side. Okay, so you see this front side facing front side. I'm simply going to take this part, put it into my machine, and I'm going to stitch around. Okay, so from the short part, I'm going to go around the long side. Uh-oh, my thread snapped. I'm going to go around. Okay. Uh-oh, my thread snapped. Yeah, these are the things that you don't see. I don't know. Should I cut it out? Should I not cut it out? You know, you guys usually don't see the struggle that goes on behind this. I don't know. My machine was just misbehaving. Thread was snapping. Really, really frustrating. But I'll do anything for you guys. You know that, right? Yeah. Yeah, you. I'll do anything for you. When you're done stitching around like I've stitched, I want you see that angle? I want you to make a notch. Do the same thing. Where you have the angle there, make a notch. Look how what I just did. And then we're going to have to notch around. So here I'm notching a bit more liberally. I'm not using 1 inch in every single part because I'm lazy. I want you to turn everything to the inside out. So you can see me flipping everything inside out. I'm gonna bring your insides out. And then I'm poking the angle. So now this is everything turned inside out. This is the first step we just stitched. I'm going to press and iron it completely flat. Okay, once again, for the white stuff I used woven fusible interfacing. Okay, medium weight. It's not light, it's not heavy, so I'm going to call it medium weight. If you're in Nigeria, look for cloth gum. So I want you to repeat this exact same thing on the other side. Remember, you will need to cut everything. You should have a total of 6 circles, 3 for one shoulder, 3 for the other. So this is what I was saying. You can see the graduation. This is 6, 7, 8. You can see that right there. At the top, you'll notice that there's a stitch. The stitch I ran at the top was to bind the lining and the fabric so that when I'm stitching it on the shoulder, I won't have any issues. So let's go to the machine. Let me show you guys piece this together. Here we have everything. See this part here that's open for the cleavage. The side that has the curve there is the back. Now the idea is that I'm going to stitch the sleeve onto this part and it's supposed to fall across like this. So you see the way it is. We kept ½ inch at the bottom. So I'm going to recognize that ½ inch. This ½ inch space at the edge there where I'm placing it. You see that I'm going to pick it like that, flip it over, and put it into the machine. And then I want you to stitch right on the edge of the fabric. And as you are doing that, I want you to tuck that's the flay 1/2 inch deep. So I'm doing from top all the way down. So you can see I'm going to keep tucking. I'm on full Bobrisky mode today. I'm going to keep on tucking the flay underneath. Okay, like so. Now mind you, the part that you can see that's facing you here is the rough side. When you get to the shoulder, now the back, we don't want to keep following the neckline because that'd be wrong. I want you to come from the shoulder, okay, and then I want you to stitch so straight. Watch what I'm doing. You're going to feel for the part underneath, and I want you to sew straight into that dart. Okay, you see that? I want you to keep on going. When you come down, I want you to lock it there, flip it around. Let me show you what I've done so far. Now if you see this part, this is the front. You can see we fixed the shoulder. That part there is the shoulder. If you look now, this is now forming a sleeve. It's covering the front like that. So the last step is you're going to need to come from the bottom and stitch all the way up. All right, so we've completed this one. Now you're going to need to do the same thing for all the other sides. So you can see this is the first step. This is the first step of the flay. Now I'm going to do the second and the third step. Repeat this exact same thing. Keep a 1 inch space between them. So see this, I'm going to come like so, place this one, keep a space between them. Okay, so I'm doing the exact same thing, leaving 1/2 inch at the bottom. I'm going to stitch all the way. All right, so I'm going to continue like so. When I get to the end, make sure you back stitch and lock it there. For the very last step, I want you to repeat the exact same thing. Come here, put it in. That didn't come out well. So keep 1/2 inch at the bottom, and then I'm going to stitch across to this other side, lock it here. So you can see the levels. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. You see the effect on the sleeve. I want to try and show you guys the effect on the sleeve. So you can see the 3 levels already. Okay, so you can see that. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to sew the sides. Lift up all the bulk. You see that on the bottom there, you see that side? I still have the side there, it's still open. That is still the side too. So we're going to need to join them together. I want you to pick them, place it the front side facing the front side. Look at that. Take the neat edge, place it like so, spread it open. When you spread it open, and then put it into the machine. Spread it open and then put it in to the machine, and we're going to start from the bottom here, and we're going to sew 1.5 from here all the way to the other side. All right, we're going to keep going in at 1.5, keep going deeper. I know that at this point it just gets very dark, but you keep going deeper in. Okay, keep going until you get to the other side. Make sure you lock it there, and there you pull out. So now I've joined the side. You see now I have an armhole here because I've joined the bottom side. I want you to repeat the exact same step on the other side. Repeat the exact same thing on the other side. Sorry, I was filming at night, so I had to jack up my ISO so you can see some noise. Remember when we're drafting, I made a mark at the middle, okay, 8 inches. So I come to 4. Remember, we made a mark in the center. From that center, I marked 1.5 when I was drafting, okay, to create that open effect in front. So I'm simply just looking for the center, making a mark at 1.5 on both sides so that I know where my where the bodice will start from. You understand, when I'm stitching, there's supposed to be a gap. That center part had a division. There's a 3-inch space between there. If you remember, when I was drafting, I kept a 3-inch space from the edge of the fabric when I was about to make that crazy neckline. Okay, if you remember, I connected the top neckline from 3.5 all the way to 1.5. at the half cut. That 1.5 now is what I'm trying to make sure that where I'm trying to make sure that I stop at that center piece. So that's what you can see me doing. That's why you saw me marking those things. If you've not seen the first video, I don't even know what you're still doing here, because I doubt that you understand anything if you have not seen the first video. If you do, then you are probably a genius. You've probably been watching my other videos. So I'm simply joining the bodice to the skirt part, and I'm stopping at that 1.5. Okay, I fixed the first part. For the second part, I'm going to come to, you see, from this part, I'm going to keep 3 inches, a 3-inch space. You see the place where I've made the mark. We're going to start stitching from there. Now I'm simply joining the half cut to the skirt part, but I'm keeping a space between them. Okay, so you can see that I kept a 3-inch space between them so that it has that open effect at the bottom part. All right, so after that, the first part I joined, that came from the zipper allowance, I stitched all the way to the first mark where I marked the 1.5, kept a 3-inch space, started from the next 1.5, and then stitched all the way down. After this, if you have an overlocker or a segger, I want you to overlock this hem, the joining you just made, and when you're done with that, I want to make a stitch from here all the way. Okay, that side that's still rough, that's 3-inch space. I'm trying to hem it underneath the 3-inch space that we had in between. If you remember, there is no band, so it was just rough. So I'm just bending it in and top stitching it. So we're close to the end. It's time to fix the zipper. So I want you to see that edge there. That's the edge I said you guys should overlock so that it looks cleaner. We're going to come from the zipper. We're going to come to where 9 inches is. Come to where 9 inches is. And I want you to sew from 9 inches down. I want you to sew down at 1.5. Okay, so you can see that I want you to sew down 1.5 from that 9 inches. Make sure you backstitch the bottom. Okay. The next step is to fix my zipper. So this is basically how I've been showing you guys how to fix a zipper. I'm keeping 1.5 from the space to where my zipper is 1.5. I'm going to fix it from the top all the way to the bottom. Okay, so you can see this. So I'm going to keep on sewing all the way down. Okay. When you get to the end, backstitch it there. So I'm going to now flip to the other side. It's basically just me fixing the zipper. Yeah, thank you for watching this far into the video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like it, and yeah, you guys need to share my videos. Why don't you share my videos? You know, you find something that you like, you share it with a friend so that my channel can go bigger. I'm trying to show people that this is possible. But if I have not blown, I cannot tell somebody else that I can blow from this. And how will I blow? I want you guys to please subscribe to the channel so that when I tell somebody you can do it, you can have 100k subscribers, they'll say yes, it's possible because you have done it. But if you guys are not subscribing, how am I going to do that? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.